Do you love the smell of salty air, the sound of the waves, the feeling of sand between your toes? And then sometimes it gets in other places and then you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning and there's like sand in your bed, but you had a shower, so you're just like, where did that come from? If you do, then this video is for you because we're going to talk all about coastal interior design. Hello everyone, Larissa here, and this video comes to you via Of Houses and Trees, where I blog about sustainable design, sustainable living, sustainable everything. I also have e-design over there, which we're going to talk about at the very end of the video, but basically that's just a way of saying that I can help you to create whatever kind of a home that you want. It's going to be sustainable because that's my jam, and if that's your jam too, then I would love to work with you on that. So coastal design might seem kind of self-explanatory. Just by what it's called, you would think, oh, coastal, it's inspired by the coast. It's going to have things like sandy colors and blue colors and probably some elements from the ocean and from coastal areas. And you would be right. But the thing is that coastal design is one of the ones that's easy to, I don't want to say do wrong, but I think that when people think of coastal design, they think of something that's like cozy and elegant. But what often ends up happening is it ends up being a little bit cutesy or cliched. It's also one of those styles that has a lot of sister styles or, cousin styles or whatever you would like. They all come from the same sort of family tree. So that would be nautical, which that is more of, I would say, a theme. You go a little bit further when you do nautical sort of inspired home. And then you can have Mediterranean. Then you also have tropical, like big, bold, like leaves, like botanical patterns. So what I want to talk about in this video is kind of a pure coastal style. Something, again, that is refined, but welcome and cozy. I don't actually feel like any interior styles should be, you walk in the door and you're like, aha, that's coastal. It should be really subtle and layered so that as you or other people are in your home, you're sort of discovering the style through little bits and pieces. And I, of course, also like blending styles. Coastal blends really well with coastal farmhouse, boho coastal, modern coastal, rustic coastal. There are many, many ways to do coastal. So I'm just going to give you sort of a blueprint. Blue, get what I just did right there, because coastal, blue. How to bring that coastal sort of vibe into your house. So I want to start by talking about 4 of the key elements of coastal design. So of course, coastal meaning ocean or sea and some sort of a coastline, whether that be a beach or sort of like a rocky coast area. The colors of those areas are going to be everything. I mean, there are lots of design styles that you can really use any color to, or different shades of different colors to evoke, but coastal, you're gonna definitely want some blue, lots of beiges and sandy colors, warm grays, really just when you close your eyes, what do you see when you think of the coast? What colors do you see? Those are the kind of colors that you are going to want to use. Lighting is also really important when it comes to coastal design. Of course, you actually lived on the coast in a beach house. You most likely would have big windows so that you could see the view, because what would be the point? And just an aside, of course, right now is the perfect time to say that you do not have to live on the coast or anywhere near the coast to do a coastal home. We have to think about, even when we don't live near the coast, how to create that sense of light airiness. So you could do things like, of course, making sure that your windows are not covered. I would pick really light, airy curtains, push them all the way to the side, actually even mount them so that they're out past the window, higher than the window, going all the way to the floor. That would really help to accentuate the sort of light that you already have. And then of course there is artificial lighting. There's pot lights, there's lamps, there's table lamps, there's pendant lighting, chandeliers, flush mount lights, task lighting. There's all kinds of different lighting that you could use in your home to create that bright and airy feel. Anytime you are decorating, being inspired by nature, you're going to want to use things that have a lot of texture. Sort of that scratchy texture, wooden elements that maybe aren't sanded to perfection, not glossy, have a bit of a rough edge to them, or things that incorporate like driftwood with restraint would also add a wonderful texture. And speaking of restraint, that is my number 4 thing that I wanted to mention, which I already have mentioned. Don't go overboard. You can if you want to. You can if you want to. But if what you want is a beautiful, welcoming, relaxing home, then you should definitely err on the side of caution when it comes to beachy themed things. All right, now I want to talk about my favorite topic, which is sustainability. I've already touched on it a little bit, but coastal design and sustainability go together like It's essentially a love letter to one of Mother Earth's most amazing creations, the ocean. So of course you can do it sustainably. You can also do it very unsustainably, and that would be buying cheap sort of reproduction site type things, buying way too many new things, not thrifting, not buying from sustainable brands. That would be an unsustainable way to do it. But there are plenty other ways to do it sustainably, such as my favorite, which is always thrifting and buying things secondhand, because coastal has that sort of a bit of a weathered feeling. Things that are thrifted in secondhand or antique go perfectly with this sort of look. Next up, I want to talk about 8 materials that you could use in coastal interior design decorating. Jute and sisal, that would be great for things like rugs. You would also want to have some wood, of course. Wood is a wonderful natural material. Glass and also brass are 2 other things that you could use in your space. Brass actually, and copper as well, were used a lot on boats. So I think that that's why that has become something that gets incorporated into coastal style. And also brass and copper and even gold look really beautiful with blue. For softer materials, organic cotton and linen are 2 of my favorites. They work with so many different styles. They are both very light and airy, so you could definitely use those in your home for things like your curtains and your throw blankets. I would just make a note that those like really billowy sort of white sheer curtains that you can get almost anywhere, quite often they're made out of polyester, which is plastic. Be really careful when you are looking for the sheer billowy curtains, which look lovely in a coastal space, to get something that is either a natural material like organic cotton or linen or something else to that effect, and not polyester. Now I have 6 decor ideas for you. A jute throw rug, because I've mentioned jute like 3 times already. A reclaimed dining table is always a coastal home's friend. Woven pendant lights, they add just warmth and character to a coastal space. I am loving this pillow because, do you see something going on here in common with this pillow? Yes, it's got an ombre design on it, which is so pretty. All of those shades of blue. I'm always recommending these recycled glass vases from Vivaterra over on my blog and in videos, but I found this one when I was researching this video, and this one is like extra beautiful because it's like this frosted look to it. And then to throw in a little bit of modern with this matte black / brass table lamp. I really like this. I love that it has a little touch of matte black on it. I love matte black in any interior space. And as always, I just want to end off on some extra tips on how to create an eco-conscious coastal space. Bringing in items from nature is my favorite way to decorate a home. Really, no matter what your style is, you could get away with putting something from nature in there. So that is things like plants, that is things like twigs in a jar, seashells, done sparingly, of course. If you don't live anywhere near those sort of natural places, it might be harder to go out and pick them yourself, but you actually can find lots of things on Etsy. You know, you can just type in driftwood, and there will be people who went out and collected driftwood from the ocean because that's close to where they live, and then they are going to sell it and send it to you, and you can have that little piece of the ocean in your home. Coastal artwork is so important. Again, trying to not be cliched. You can actually DIY coastal artwork. I really like this one for inspiration. I think it looks great. It'd be 100% original. Nobody would have the same, and you don't have to be super talented in order to do this. You just have to have some paint and a canvas and the ability to like swirl things around. If you really don't want to DIY, or you just want to have other types of artwork as well, then Etsy is one of my favorite places to buy art. I've got a few different ones here that I think are so beautiful, and I like that they have all of these like really subtle blues and greens and beiges to them. Another thing you should definitely do, if possible, is take your existing furniture, if it's well made, and either sand it down. You can also bleach your furniture so that it has that really like left it out in the sun for too long look, or you could even paint it like a solid green or a solid blue or something that has a coastal vibe to it. Always try to use what you already have as far as furniture and as far as anything else goes, and see what you can do with it to bring it into the style that you want as opposed to going out and buying something new. The last way to sustainably get a coastal look in your home is to get me to help you. This here is a boho coastal space that I designed for a dear friend of mine. As I had mentioned, coastal is really easy to blend with different styles, and this is an example of something that I could help you to achieve. So if you head on over to either of Houses and Trees or to my Etsy shop, you can buy a custom design and I will work with you to create a coastal space or any other space that your heart desires. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you live near the ocean, go out and stare at it right now, and I will see you next time. Bye. How do you say sisal? Is it sisal or is it sisal? How to say sisal?
Sisal.
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 Sisal. Sisal.